Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Autumn Venus. Thank you for joining me on this live broadcast, either from Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. If you have not yet already done so, be sure to go ahead and share this broadcast with a witch or two or three who may have lost the motivation to do witchcraft, which is a bad thing, because that's what this broadcast is all about: regaining your motivation to do witchcraft, getting back into witchcraft. When the motivation has left, I am going to help you as a high priestess to bring it back so that you may have real, significant, and permanently positive change. Because there is no reason why witchcraft should not be impactful in your life. Many new witches start out with lots of energy, enthusiasm, and motivation, only to find that months later, being a witch is not there anymore. They're not feeling it anymore. Some witches might try buying new books about witchcraft, trying new spells, sign up for classes or events related to witchcraft. Sometimes this does not work and you feel burnt out and no longer interested. The problem is how we are thinking about our motivation and what we do in response to those low motivational moments. What do? We need, as witches, we have to dissect our self-talk with the word should. When we say the word should, we are telling ourselves and the rest of the world that we are not cool with the way things presently are. Should is rooted in resistance to our present reality of what we want. When you say I should be practicing more witchcraft, what you actually mean is I am not okay with how little witchcraft I have been practicing. This statement is rooted in guilt. It takes the talk around your spell work and shoves it into disappointment and shame. It makes who you are and how you do witchcraft wrong. When you should be doing something, you are feeling guilty for the fact that you do not actually want to be doing that. Or you feel like there is a expectation for you to do that thing, but that you do not want to meet the expectation. When the word should comes up, it is a giant flashing neon sign that your expectations of yourself and your desires for yourself and your spell work are not matching up. That's the problem. For many witches, this conflict, this horrible thing between expectation and desire comes from a feeling that we are not valid in our practice without matching some kind of outside metric for success as a witch. You solve this should problem by getting paper, pencil, or pen and give your own definition of what is enough for you to do to be considered a real life witch. Write out what you think is enough. What you think is enough witchcraft just for you and your spell work to be valid, to be important. What do you think is enough witchcraft? Be sure to include everything from how often you are doing witchcraft, how often you work with deities, how many deities, and what kind of books you are reading about witchcraft. Are you reading too many books? Now take the list and write down why each of these items is important to you to be considered a real life witch. Look over the list and see if any of them make you feel uncomfortable, that you know is not true about yourself. Emphasize the things that matter to you. This list of what is enough witchcraft is a guideline that will change with you. Change with you and change with your needs. This list is meant to give you an understanding of what is enough so that you are constantly, and I do mean constantly, chasing down more when you already doing plenty. Enjoy yourself. If you find yourself not wanting to do witchcraft, it is because you have been making witchcraft feel like a chore, something that you have to do. When we put pressure on ourselves as witches to get enough witchcraft into our lives to meet these expectations we have of ourselves, and then we fail to meet those same expectations, they are too high, and then we find ourselves creating a negative feedback loop that tells us that we cannot do magic and that we are not good enough as witches. This ends up with a pattern of guilt and shame around our practice of the craft. We avoid doing witchcraft because we do not want to experience failure and the negative self-talk. First step of getting out of this guilty cycle is to know it is okay to not have cast a spell in a month or two. You need to set reasonable goals that match your abilities. The time you have available, the energy you have available, and the attention you have. You cannot feel bad about yourself as a witch and want to do witchcraft at the same time. Make witchcraft fun. Make witchcraft enjoyable. It's fine to do witchcraft inconsistently. By checking in with yourself and figuring out what you want to be doing, you short circuit that cycle of expectation. Make your real desires in your craft your number one priority. You no longer have to be motivated or motivate yourself to get witchcraft done because it feels good to do. This is the point where you begin to find motivation in your craft. We all want to do the things that we think we should be doing. That's intricate motivation. It's the eternal desire and drive to do something. Extrinsic motivation is when we have outside factors that are influencing our desire to do something. Intricate motivation is something similar to being motivated to go to your job because they pay you money. You do not really want the job, but you do want the outside reward of getting paid. Intricate motivation would be doing volunteer work because you enjoy it, even if you do not get paid. Look over the list you made. How many of your reasons were intricate and extricate? You'll be more consistent in meeting your intricately motivated goals than your extrinsic goals. Intricate motivation is anything that makes you feel good about yourself, that you enjoy, or that meets a need that you have. Find ways to create intricate motivation in everything that you want to do in your craft. If you want a particular book about witchcraft, how can you make that experience enjoyable? Find ways to make everything you do in witchcraft enjoyable. You can take a step back. Sometimes you have to give yourself a little break. There is nothing wrong with taking a few weeks or few months to focus on something else. You will not lose your powers. Be a witch on your own terms. Do what you have to do in your normal life rather than pushing yourself too hard. Witchcraft is meant for you to make your life better. It is meant to make you happier, have better relationships, and make your life much more abundant. If witchcraft is stressing you out, it is not serving its purpose. And you need to take a break so that witchcraft is always enjoyable. Once again, I am High Priestess Autumn Phoenix, anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches Hecate to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hecate's best. If you have not already done so, go ahead and share this broadcast on your own social media platforms so that more witches who seek out real, significant, and permanently positive change can find it on my page. Thank you, witches, for joining me, and I'll speak to you witches next time. Bye, everyone.